Hello, skipper. Hello, navigator. Half a minute to go. Okay.
Hi everyone, welcome to Baboon Yodel.
Baboon Yodel.
Your favorite podcast is a favorite podcast of about 30 people in the country and US.
Did you survey that? Is that official?
Yeah, that's what my downloads say. It's millions of people listening, but the system is a bit wrong. It kind of registers about 30 people.
I've been finding the same thing. It's pretty temperamental. You can't really trust the figures.
No, it's crazy. And then 70% of them are in the US. I don't know why the US people are listening to us.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of people listening to us in the US. It's crazy.
For these US listeners, you're probably realizing right now that I am not Renee Church.
Yeah. So let me introduce myself first. I am Edamon, your favorite co-host of the two, and one of them is dead. Renee Church passed away. No, she's still with us, and she's just working. And
imagine if she did die, but you're just like, the show must go on.
The show must go on. The show must go on, and we will just immediately record an episode after her death. Without any posts or anything.
I think it's what she'd want.
She'd want that. She's quite open to that. Mm-hmm. And I think if she does die, she would die of eating something full of gluten, like a piece of bread or cornflakes.
Yeah.
So
What a shit way to go.
Cornflakes do not have gluten.
Pretty much anything. Am I introducing myself, or do you want to?
No, I'll.
Okay.
Would you do it? Should I do it? Yeah.
I want to hear what you come up with.
Oh my God! We've got filling up the chair of the small chair of Renee Church. There's a big dude from Masterton, Matthew Fleety.
Represent Matty Fleet.
Friends,
you were just looking for another pasty redhead to replace Renee, and you found one. By God, did you find one?
Now you're a red face as well with that huge.
Red face. Well, when I call myself a redhead, I don't have ginger head hair.
Yeah,
I've got, but definitely got a red beard.
Yeah,
so I take redhead credit.
That's pretty cool. It's like Osama bin Laden being left in the sun for too long. So yeah. That's how you're looking. That's how you're looking at the moment.
I get to call myself a redhead and act like I'm persecuted, but if I shave my beard, people don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, your face is quite different when you shave it.
Yeah,
you shave it.
I'd wager most people's are.
Of course. Yeah, because it's.
Do you go facial hair?
Man, if I start growing, after a week, people start thinking then I'm depressed or something, because it's really dark. It kind of covers most of my face, and then I have to shave it because all the people start thinking that I'm sad or somebody has died.
Own it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Own it. Yeah. My dolphin died, and I'm sad.
Are you continuing to shave your head now?
Yeah. I've had.
That's your look now.
That's my look now. I've done it 3 times already since the first time I did it. I quite like it. I'll do it for about a year, and then I'll grow it back. And grow it long and hard. Because
yours was pretty long. Shit, how long did that take you to grow?
Jesus, 2 years. But I was cutting it every couple of months. I was doing a trim job.
You can't just let it grow wild.
Nah.
That doesn't look nice at all. I always have these visions of growing my hair long, and then it gets to medium length. I feel like a lot of people have this experience. It gets to medium length, and then you're like, this is disgusting, but you got to persevere through that part. I have this vision in my head that I look like Tim Riggins from Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, I have this vision of that's what I'd look like, but I know what my head shape's like. It's not going to look like that. It's not going to look that cool.
No, I think so. You should give it a go once, and it will grow back. Yeah. You seem like a person who has a healthy head of hair.
Yeah, it's thick as hell, man.
Thick as hell. Like my dick. All right, anyway. So,
I don't think that was your style, man.
No, I
apologize to the listeners of Baboon Yodel. That was disgraceful.
It's just Renee is not here, so I gotta say all the bad things that I can say.
What does she tell you off usually?
No, I can't say in front of a nice lady that your hair is.
Look at the size of my dick.
I can't really do that. So Matty Fleety is a huge comedian. He used to be huge in Hamilton. I'm like top-notch Hamilton comedian for a while.
I mean, I moved out of there 2 weeks ago. I like to think I've still got some pull down there.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, you can just tell Dan Sage, who kind of organizes stuff over there. Just say, listen, I'm coming to Hamilton. Can you put me on something?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there are probably just a huge number of Matthew Fleety fans out there now, like tearing their posters off the wall, like fuck him, he's gone. But no, I was living in Hamilton. Yes,
Yeah.
now living in Greyland. What a change!
What a change. How do you find Auckland in the past couple of weeks?
It's been alright. I think it's an adjustment because I grew up in Marston and then living in Hamilton and now Auckland, so I'm slowly moving north and slowly to bigger and bigger places. So that's definitely an adjustment.
All right.
Yeah.
For our Chilean listeners, Hamilton and all that stuff is in New Zealand. We've got Chilean listeners as well.
Really?
Like 3 people listening from Chile. I don't know why. Oh, that's crazy.
Baboon Yodel knows no limits.
No limits.
on this
No
earth.
limits. So I've been on your podcast. You're a established podcaster now. So can you tell our listeners about your raging podcast?
Oh, right. That sounded very condescending. So I host a podcast called Fleety on Sport, the sports podcast for the uninformed, by the uninformed. Basically, I like talking about sport, but I have the distinct difference of not really knowing fuck all about it or being particularly good at it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of just talking general shit.
Banter.
Yeah, usually have some other comedians on. We just released episode 8.
Yeah.
So, by God, is there a back catalogue now?
Oh yeah.
if you're just hearing about it, there's so much to catch up on.
You're gonna have to binge it. Spend one night listening to it in bed.
Yeah, if you're like doing like an Auckland-Wellington drive or something, just line up Fleety on Sport.
Yeah.
Let my soothing voice guide you the entire way. But yeah, it's going well.
I've been on the podcast. It's pretty good, and it's some great content there. So everybody should log in and sign up and rate and all that stuff that people do, and
Like,
listen,
subscribe,
and make
yeah.
comment, give out some hate and love. So because I would like to get some hate or love. I mean, people
I
don't
can't
contact me.
wait as a comedian to receive a hate message.
Yeah.
I want to get a message on Instagram saying, "Hey, I saw your show last night and that was fucking filthy." Like,
That would be so
it
great.
excites me to.
At least there will be some reaction. At the moment, there's no reaction.
Yeah.
So
I remember it must have been the Raw semi-finals last year, and a friend of mine was sitting towards the back of the Classic, and I can't even remember the joke I made. It's something about cancer. It's not even that bad a joke. But then my friend just heard this lady behind him just going, "That's not funny." And it's one of my favourite things I heard after that night. Like, that was the feedback I got. It's like, yeah, it's not for you.
I get these things where I haven't had proper hate from the crowd yet, but I do get, because I get nervous on stage and it's not my first language, and sometimes I say things wrong. Last night in our show, I said, somebody said they were from the UK, and I said they were from England, and they said, "Oh, have you been to England?" I said, "Yeah, I was in Cardiff," and then somebody shouts out, "That's not in England," and people just crack up, and I was like, God damn it. I was supposed to make the crowd laugh, not the crowd.
There's no coming back
There's no
from
coming
that.
back from that.
Days.
Yeah. That is.
It is what it is. I didn't realize English wasn't your first language. So, Pakistani, is that the language?
Urdu.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the one. That just really dating myself as a white guy here. Like,
It's okay. I
Really?
mean, most countries' languages are associated with their name of the country.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
but still, you don't say to someone from Venezuela, say that, "Oh, how do you say this in Venezuelan?" Because they speak Spanish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that one. Give me some credit. That one I did know they speak Spanish. So that one I'm pretty sharp.
Pretty
when I feel
sharp.
like it, but
Well, I guess Spanish is one of the most spoken languages in the world. Urdu is just spoken in one country, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really, nobody cares.
I wish I learned another language.
Oh, you do? You have another language in your country, actually.
Yeah, I know. And that's really bad. Well,
Tena koto, tena koto, tena koto.
not everything's sung like that. But no, I genuinely think today is a beautiful language. I'd love to actually put the time in to learn it one day. But I just hate any time the debate comes up around,
Yeah.
should it be taught in schools, blah, 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 blah. How many people think that their kid is going to be like an international businessman or something. They're like, oh, why don't they learn a more internationally recognized language that'd be good for jobs like Japanese? It's like, all right, sit the fuck down. Your kid's not that important. He doesn't need to know Japanese. There's
true.
more to learning a language than just business or getting a job out of it. It's about preserving culture. You an idiot.
And just broadening your mind. And it's not like everybody is learning Japanese and French as a second language. Everybody says, oh, I wish I learned a second language. Yeah, and then you say, okay, why not the te reo? And then say, oh, te reo, they will not help us in their career.
Yeah.
They're not learning anything else that will help them in their career.
Yeah, exactly. I know about 3 people who speak Japanese who aren't of Japanese heritage. It's not like, that's always the example people use, but people aren't out here just hustling, wheeling and dealing in Japanese the entire time.
It's every time Maori Language Week comes up. For our international listeners, we have an indigenous language. It's called Te Reo Maori. It's very nice. And then, like any indigenous culture, it's kind of moving towards death because it's not been taught and it was taken away from the people, and then blah, blah, blah. A lot of things happen.
Well, it shows the sad state of affairs we're in when we have to have a week dedicated to it.
Yeah. That's a whole week of that. And then only in that week, all these heads pop up, like Don Brash and who else is there? There's Don Brash and that's the main guy. That's the main guy. He pops up and says, oh, why do we need to teach this out to our kids? And blah, 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 blah. So I think everybody should learn it. I think it makes, like the UK doesn't have an indigenous language. And we say that we're kind of, half the people migrated from there, not half, more than 90% migrated from there. So it's a cool thing to have a second, say, okay, you're New Zealand. Oh, you speak English? No, I speak another language.
Yeah. It's just cool. I don't need an argument for why we should do it. And admittedly, I don't speak it, and I should.
Yeah.
But I'm open to it, and I'm trying to be better. I try to pronounce place names in there better now. But you just get ripped about it.
Yeah.
You say to someone, I'm going to Taupo, and they're like, where? And you're like, Taupo. Why didn't you say that? You know what I'm trying to say, you fucking idiot. And even if you're like trying to do it properly and you butcher it slightly, that's better than just not even trying.
It is it's a lot better to try and get it wrong rather than just not try at all. Because we're doing it at our work. We have this culture competency course that I organized that is happening now, and our teacher said that, listen, don't care about the people who correct you all the time because they only know the names of those cities. They don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Firstly, and most of the times, the people who would be correcting you, they will be most likely white, and they will be correcting you how to say the word correctly.
Yeah. And
so don't worry about it. Just say it as you want, and just try to be better, and it's fine. It doesn't matter.
That's all there is to it. Do you know? Have you ever been to Paraparaumu?
Yeah.
And the butchered fucking Paraparam that people call it. That's not even like pronouncing it wrong. You're just removing half the word.
Yeah, you just anglified the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I had this experience first time when I was in Wellington, driving to Paraparaumu.
Paraparam. Yeah.
And people kept saying we were going to Paraparam. And I was following the highway, and I was trying to find a sign, and all signs said Paraparaumu, and I was looking for Paraparam. And then after like 30 minutes or something, when we started reaching close, I asked, is it Paraparaumu that you guys are talking about? Yeah, but it's called Paraparam. What the fuck?
If it was cool, that's what would be on the sign.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just insane. And so now I try to say them correctly. Like there's a few say, Wangare and Wakatane, and it's fine. It doesn't really matter. The other thing I've noticed that the Indian people or Pakistani people from my origin, they refuse to say it correctly a lot of the times, because my street name is Nahura Street, so it starts with NGA.
Yeah.
Every time I correct people, right? For that, I do correct people. When they say Nagahura Street, I said, no, it's Nahura Street. So it's like a singer. N and G is pronounced like it's there in singer. But then next time I meet them again, what's your address? Nahura Street.
Well,
Nagahura?
You picked that up once. You're sorted for life.
Yeah.
If you just wrap your head around the fact that that's how that sound is pronounced, done. You're covered for all of those words. So what, they're going to Nagara I can't even say it. I can't even make fun of it. Nagara Wahia. Jesus, that's hard, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's funny actually. I went to India a few years ago, and I was with my two friends Nick and Brandon, and we got told by somebody like, "Hey, if it's easier, just pronounce things sort of how the Indian people are pronouncing them, just to make the conversation easier." And my friend Brandon just refused to do it, and he would, if they weren't understanding what he was doing, he would slow it down. But in like a thicker New Zealand accent, like if we asked him for a Coke and he'd be like, Coca-Cola. And it's like, dude, just help them out here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, because when my parents visited and we were visiting, just across the country, and there's a way people say things with W, like known, right? The word is known, but they would say known. Right? I've known him for a while, and my dad did not understand what the hell people were talking about. And I said, when I explained to my dad that, listen, it's Kiwi accent. A lot of people who have thicker Kiwi accent, they will say known, rather than known. So he was like, but it's in the spelling. It's known. I said, don't worry about it.
Don't get
technical. Yeah. So just remember, that's how we speak here. Yeah. Don't be racist.
My dad, my dad mumbles at the best of times. Like, sometimes I struggle to understand my dad. So when I went to like the USA with him, and he's just getting visibly frustrated when people aren't understanding him, and I'm just like, Dad, see it from their shoes. Like, you're just speaking fucking nonsense in the restaurant at the moment. Like, have a bit of sympathy for the guy, and he's just getting like pissed off that they're not understanding him, but not amending the way he's speaking.
No, it just I've seen that one. People just say it loudly and go slower. You know, they will say, "Can you understand?"
And then now you just sound like a prick. Like, that's not making this. That's not easing tensions. That's just making things worse.
It's crazy. That's good. That wasn't supposed to be on our agenda, but we had a good, nice cultural discussion. Yeah, right at the top.
I'd like to think we're both pretty open to new ideas.
Oh, definitely. We are very, very open to new ideas.
I would consider myself mildly woke.
Yeah, it's mildly woke with half an erection.
Yeah. Wait, how can you see that?
No, it's like I with the woke thing as well. I didn't when I started getting hearing that reference in popular culture, I had no idea what it meant because it came from America, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I'm woke, people would say, and then I didn't understand what the hell's happening. But then I kind of connected the dots, and it meant that you are you've got it sorted. You've got all the nuances of the world
you're
enlightened.
Yeah.
And that's the most smug person that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, I use that word ironically, but it's one of those words that you're starting to use enough ironically that you're in danger of using it seriously. So it's a slippery slope. I've got to be careful with that. One of our senior comedians, Brendan Lovegrove, he always uses it as "I'm awake." Yeah.
I'm awake.
Yeah, I love that bit.
It's crazy, but it's good to be woke, to know everything, how things are going. But if you start each of your sentence by saying, you should listen to me, I'm woke, so now I will say my sentences.
I've never heard someone use it like that, but that would excite me. I want someone to do it. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then and some people, when they do, recently there've been some people around in our comedy scene as well. Mm-hmm. They've done some very good stuff for good causes, and then but they keep talking about it, and it did kind of piss me off. I'm not gonna name names here.
That's not in the spirit of this podcast.
No,
is it?
no. We do name names here. No. We don't name names.
Do you remember that new pro showcase at the start of the year? And when that lady came up and talked to Tasman Stevenson afterwards and said that she really liked his comedy because he didn't have an agenda. And we're all sitting there trying to figure out which one of us has an agenda. Like, I don't think any of us who were on that night were particularly preachy or woke, as it were.
No.
So that was really confusing. It's like, which one of us is trying to push a message?
Yeah,
I'd love to know what message someone's trying to take from what I'm doing.
I've seen your comedy. There's a lot of mixed messages in there.
Something very conflicting in there.
She was quite drunk, and she told him later.
Yeah.
She told him later, and she talked about me.
That's right.
No, she said that she doesn't like comedians that have agenda, like that guy who was talking about Islam.
That's right. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I watched your comment. I don't even know your stance on Islam. At the end of it. Like, that's how little agenda there is in the jokes you're doing.
I'm a very new comedian. All I want is people to laugh. I don't give a shit what I'm saying. It's just if it makes people laugh, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I actually get really annoyed. I've heard people in the past say, like, talk about particular comedians. Like, I heard someone say about Pax Asadi once.
Yeah.
Say, I just wish he wouldn't do so much race-related material. And it's like, he's not pushing an agenda or anything.
Yeah.
He's just talking about his background and his experiences in this country. Like, of course race is going to come into it. Like,
well, that's his background. I mean, if you go and talk about your girlfriend's relationships and family and all that, I can start saying that as well. Why is he talking about all this white stuff? Because he has he's got these relationships and breakups and all that. So if that's your people in comedy, people talk about their experiences. So if being a different race in a country of another race has been your life, then that's where the material is going to come from.
Yeah, of course you're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just a stupid complaint to make.
That is a good segue to one of the things that happened recently. In the US, in the US, I've got a creepy bearded wink from Matthew Fleety.
Bearded wink.
So there's a comedian in the US. I like him quite a lot, but I haven't seen him too much. I've seen a few sets of him on YouTube. His name is Ahmed Ahmed. So he's got two Ahmeds in his name. And he's a great comedian. And he does a lot of material which is Islam and race-based, right? Because he came to the US when he was 1 year old. And then now he's 48 years old. So, I mean, if you're living in a country 47 years, you kind of are from that country now.
I would certainly think that.
Yeah.
You know, that might be a hot take.
So he was in Florida, Naples, Florida. He was making doing some crowd work. What happened during the crowd work? Somebody went after that. Somebody went outside and called 911 to call the police, and the reason was that he asked the crowd, anybody from the Middle East, and people started raising their hands, saying, "I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Iran. I'm from Iraq," and then Ahmed Ahmed replied, allegedly, according to this guy, saying that, we can all make our own terrorist organization, and which is kind of funny.
Kind of funny.
Yeah,
I actually misread the headline. Didn't misinterpreted the headline when I read that before. I thought this was a white dude making Middle Eastern jokes, and someone got so offended that they.
No. It's a brown Muslim guy. So he made that joke, and then the guy who made the complaint, his point was that he's asked all these guys, and he said this, he might go to other places and say this again, and that made him uncomfortable, and he called the police.
Imagine hearing anything in a comedy club and thinking, I should call the cops.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then the cops came, and cops were like, what the fuck is happening here? And the cops told Ahmed Ahmed, saying that, listen, don't change your joke. Don't change anything. Really? It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this dude. and then they left.
But was there a transcript of the 911 call? Like what?
No, there wasn't a transcript, but the guy who called, he said a few things. So he said, he said Ahmed performed the following day. The man who said he attended the show called 911 and complained about when Ahmed asked the audience who was from the Middle East. And now quote what he said. And a whole bunch of people raised their hands, the caller said, according to the 911 call. And he said, where are you from? I'm from Iraq. I'm from Iran. I'm from Pakistan. I'm from here. I'm from there. He said, that's great. We could organize our own little terrorist organization.
The 911 dispatcher should have hung up the call as soon as he said, I was at a comedy show and the comedian said this. All right, then.
And then they came in and the comedian has to put it online on Twitter saying that, listen, I didn't exactly make that joke, firstly.
Yeah.
Secondly, I did not, and it's stupid to say that it's stupid that I'm saying this, I was not intending to create a terrorist organization from a comedy club. So.
Yeah. That'd be the hardest place to really radicalize people. You'd be like making a serious joke. People laugh and go, no, for real, guys.
Well, join
Deaf to
us.
the West. It's the worst place to try get a movement going. I don't know.
It's just it's just amazing how people. So it's kind of like as you were saying in the beginning, this thing is kind of at both end of this spectrum. So the right wing guy is getting offended by the Middle East joke, and the left wing guy is also getting offended by the Middle East joke, which is weird for the Middle East people to make any kind of jokes.
So for us, like center-leaning people, smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing. We make jokes about peanuts and seeds.
That's the beauty of being middle of the road politically. Nothing offends you.
Yeah, nothing really.
ticks you off.
No, nothing at all.
Someone makes a joke and it's like, yeah, that's not bad. I can laugh at that. Yeah. That's what I hate about the left and the right. Neither of them can laugh at themselves.
Yeah. At the moment, that it's quite true. No, and everybody just gets quite defensive.
Yeah.
If somebody says something about you in a funny tone, but how can you say that? And then you're offended. And then the fun in the conversation always ends there, which is crazy. And I mean, we see a lot of comedy with now, a lot of deep messages as well. And not just a lot of shit. Have you seen Anthony Jeselnik's new?
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was better than. No, it wasn't better than. I mean, I'd liked his previous stuff before, but this time he's changed the way. Like he has like big chunks of stories now in there.
Yeah.
Before it was just one line.
I enjoyed it. I've never been a huge fan. Just I don't like overly over the top kind of dark comedy. I don't like dark for the sake of dark.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. He's pretty good at it, but I don't see the value in just like, dead babies, like fucking cool.
No,
like that's the kind of guy who would probably do really well playing Cards Against Humanity. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. He would. I like him because I like the way he. So I'm always interested when he does the premise, and I'll say, okay, what's the surprise? All right, let's see how that. And then it's an interesting study of comedy when I hear him that, okay, this is how you created a surprise. And we can work on it in a different way and have a different type of surprise. But he writes jokes like an actual joke.
I think that's the way you got to do dark humor, right? You got to have like subverted expectations at some point in the joke. But then you run the risk, if that's all you do, that it's not subverted expectations, the twist is the expectation. Isn't comedy fun?
So we are sounding like professors, but if you hear us talk about different stuff when we are hanging out outside the comedy club, we talk some bullshit, and just quite good. It's nice.
Comedians are nerds inherently. Comedians love breaking things down.
Yeah,
and I say that as someone who loves breaking things down. It comes from a place of love, not hate.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know how much people outside of comedy find getting into the nitty gritty of comedy.
I mean, it was a 30 to 50 people who are listening. They, I think they like us because they've stayed with us since the start. So
let me just say, I've always loved the Chileans.
Yeah, the Chileans and some of the US people, 2 from Australia, and then the rest in New Zealand. They've been, and I'm not complaining because those are the hardcore yodelers or babooners. I don't know what it is.
Yodelers.
Cool. I think babooners is the
yodelers
term.
Is cool because that means they've inherently got a bit more of a war cry.
Yeah.
If they're protesting, if you ever get shut down or something.
That's true.
That's true. Do not.
No. So how's your I heard some people were telling me that you are a quite established comedian. You have a festival show.
Ooh, you heard that?
Yeah, I have.
Or did you read
that.
a program?
Tell us more about it.
What day is this coming out?
Tonight.
Yeah. Tonight. Oh, well, good for you. So I have a show with 2 other probably more established comedians, Joshua Jack and Joe Damond. We have got a split bill show with the 3 of us called There's Potential Here. There is. The idea is that none of us are famous at this point. Joe's flirting the line.
Joe's
flirting the line, but none of us are famous at this point. We might be one day.
Yeah.
So, come along and see us while we're nice and cheap, and then years down the line when we're huge, you can be like, I saw that guy when he cost $15. Do you know how much he charges for tickets now? So, get in while we're cheap. Yeah, so we're Wednesday the 22nd through to Saturday the 25th.
Next week,
10 p.m. Q Theatre Cellar in Auckland.
That's
Come
a good
down,
room.
where we had a great run in the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
Established.
Absolutely, we've taken it around the country. We've gone to Northland, we've gone to Hamilton, we've gone to Marsden. We've done it a few times at this point. It's a well-oiled machine.
Oh, right.
And if that doesn't sell it, nothing will. Nothing will.
That's great because Cellar is a good room and it's a nice intimate area.
Yep.
It's a good way to say it's the shittiest room in the whole festival, but it's great because everybody sitting.
Comedians are such optimists, eh? The room's never small; it's intimate.
Yeah.
It's never a small crowd; it's an intimate
crowd. Yeah.
There is some logic to it. Yeah. Because your guys' run's been going well, right? So
it's been we
final show tonight.
Final show tonight. I would ask you guys to come, but it's sold out, bitches. Anyway.
Yeah, it's weird when your friends have got a show on that you want to go to support them, but it sells out, so you're caught in 2 minds. Like, I'm really happy for them that it's sold out. I'm really happy, but I wanted to go.
Yeah, I did. We did. Some people asked in the beginning, so there were some comps floating around at the start. But we did like 3 or 4 comps, like not more. A couple for the wives and the girlfriends. That's it.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, all of a sudden, Wednesday evening. From Wednesday evening, we started getting these requests. Are there like 4 more tickets? I need to bring 4 more people from regular customers. I said, no, it's sold out. You should have bought the ticket. About a month ago. What are you doing? And then a few comedians yesterday asked that, listen, can we come and stand at the back and see? I said, I mean, it might be possible, but it's kind of pushing in that small room. It's a 50-person room.
Yeah, it becomes a health and safety issue. It's not I don't want you there thing.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'd love the most amount of people there, but I think that's a building code that you can have only this amount of people in this amount of size.
Oh, if we had it my way in the Q Theatre, so I'd rip the seats out, let's just have a mosh pit up the fucking front.
yeah, definitely.
Just people like, woo, comedy! That room's that's a sweaty room as at the best of times. That'd be a hot boy down there if you just ran it like that.
Yeah, well, you guys will kill it though. I mean, you are
too
doing
kind.
You have done quite well for you recently, for the past year, and Joe's just fluffing around. He's just he's okay.
Joe's one of the most charismatic guys in the business from the moment he entered the fucking business.
He's just he's great. And then Joshua is a king of surprise comedy. He's quite good at that.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to describe him actually. Yeah. When we were in Melbourne, we went out for drinks with these 3 girls one of them, Josh, had been on Tinder, and so she brought two of her friends, and Josh brought Joe and I, and they were going to come to the show, and so they said, tell us a bit about your comedy, and so we're like, we'll describe each other. So Joe described me, I was describing Josh was describing Joe, and it came to me describing Josh, and I learned then I'm very bad at describing a comedian's style. Very bad. It's just describing Josh as like, he's just very he's very dry, just like a super dry sense of humor. Just really can't stress enough how dry he is. And it's just like, fucking hell, like, I was pretty good at English at school, but as soon as it come to describing a comedian, such a bad vocabulary. And maybe that was a contributing factor to these girls ghosting Josh and never showing to the show. Maybe that's why they didn't like the description of Josh's comedy.
Because the dryness rubbed off.
Yeah, maybe the girls thought, that Josh guy seemed pretty cool, but dry, I've heard.
He's quite dry.
Dry. And then Joe described me to them as super relatable, and I was like, Joe, a lot of my material's about like failing to get pussy, so I also don't know how true that is for these girls. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're out there and also failing to get pussy. Maybe it could have been the most relatable show they've ever seen. But who's to say?
How did you describe Joe?
Joe, I think, because I was Josh describing Joe, I think, just like I was here, just charming. Just charming as hell. Brags and gets away with it.
Gets away with it, yeah. He just brags it, and then gives a pause, and then says a word, and everybody's like, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Classic Joe, yeah. No, that's
great.
A good description for him. If he did his material, if anyone else did his material, could come across as arrogant so easily, but he's just that goddamn charismatic.
But he's a great
the guy.
I've listening to him for the year. He's a perfect combination of bragging and then self-deprecating. So he does that as well.
Yeah.
So he will be talking about, I won't give a lot of it away, but some of the things that have been given to him by God, and he will be talking about that, and then he'll just instantly put himself down by saying that, it's no.
And that's the way you've got to balance. It's hard to describe comedians to somebody sometimes without necessarily giving away material. Like if you say to somebody that, this guy, whatever you think the punchline's going to be, it subverts expectations every time.
Yeah.
So then now their expectations aren't there, so it's not going to work as well. So
that's true.
I don't know.
How would you describe me?
Massive agenda.
This comedian with the agenda.
Yeah.
Comedian with the agenda.
I went in what I thought pretty secure in my beliefs. I came out fully converted to Islam. So, I would recommend.
Yeah.
Would recommend. My life's become a lot more peaceful since.
Oh, really? That's true. I mean, one of the listeners is going to call 911 now.
This comedian on a podcast said he joined Islam after watching another comedian.
All right. So where can they follow you, or actually first, where can they buy the tickets? I mean, nobody knows.
Buy tickets at comedyfestival.co.nz.
Search.
I don't keep track of ticket sales. I don't know how we're looking. I don't know which ones are sold out. I think Wednesday pretty much is.
Yeah.
But yeah, buy tickets there. You can follow me on Instagram at maddie.fleet.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to my podcast, Fleety on Sport.
Sweet.
And follow the page for that on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can do you. You don't have to do any of these things. I've always said since I started doing comedy that I would really like to expand my Chilean fan base.
Yeah.
So this is my opportunity. So if you're listening and you're from Chile, I love you.
Yeah, join in. There's some good sport banter.
Listen to some sports podcasts about sports that you probably just don't
care about. Super Rugby. All right. Okay. Oh, I got to plug my stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I'm my show is almost done tonight. My country is done. So thank you guys if any of you came.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming. Then I've got next week. I've got a show. I'm opening in Mission Bay in Auckland at the Attic for Wilson Dixon. So come along, support me rather than. Wilson is great. So listen to him as well. But come and support me. And Brendan Lovegrove is emceeing. He's
It's hard it's hard drawing a crowd when you're the opener because you got to make it really clear to people. They're like, no, you should probably still want to see the main act.
Yeah. And then you kill it, and then you're like, oh shit.
The opener was way better.
Well, Brendan's there. He's gonna handle. He's the MC, Brendan Lovegrove, so he's gonna handle it well. So did two openers. I think Savannah Carlton and myself.
Oh, that's a hell of a gig.
So we're kind of like not opener anymore. We're support. Yeah, support acts.
Supporting acts.
Yeah. So, and then Wilson Dixon is hilarious. So come to it. Tickets go fast. He sells out really quick. And that's it. Listen to Baboon Yodel if you're listening to it, and follow us and email us and send me some death threats, etc. Love some of that. And that's good. And thank you, Matthew Fleety, to join us today as a guest host. I hope people liked the man taking over the women's space. So
yeah, this could be controversial.
Controversial,
actually. This could be.
Why didn't you find another woman?
I did find it weird that you paid me more than you pay Renee.
Oh, I'd have to cut that out. All right, peeps. See ya.
Ciao.